Okay, so I went to Target about 30 minutes ago, and I was looking for iPad cases, and the iPad cases and the phone cases are all together, but everything is locked up to prevent stealing. There was these two adorable girls. They were literally looked so cute and innocent. Piggy tails and everything. The mom or dad or parent or guardian or whatever was nowhere to be found. Well, like, wasn't by them. And at max, they were 4 and probably 7. They were tiny little adorable things. One of them pulls a hammer out of their, bag and starts hitting one of the phone case things, trying to get it out of, the security thing. I already knew what they were doing. And I was like, girls, you're not gonna be able to get that out of there. Just go to the cases over there, because there was, a little section of dollar cases that wasn't, security protected. The 4-year-old, or, the younger one, looks at me and throws their little hammer at my foot, but doesn't hit me with it. Then kicks me, then grabs, the phone case security box thing, and said, no, I'm stealing this one, bro.
Quick story time. At the time, me and my friend got jumped in the Walmart parking lot. So me and my friend were steady beefing with these two girls that went to our school, and they were just mean girls. They were literally the definition of mean girls. They always bothered us just to bother us. Child, I might take this wig off. They were just always picking on us, and they were just really mean. So we were just driving around, and we ended up at Walmart. And there are those two girls. They were checking out, and they saw us too, and they stared dead at us. Now, me and my friend are not fighters. We usually try to avoid the people that hate us so nothing happens. So we hurry up and try to get out of there before they finish checking out. We got as far as our car, and then they walked out of the store. And obviously, because they were mean girls, they yelled our names, came towards us. Like I said, we don't fight, but we had to defend ourselves. But we're not good at fighting, so we're getting beat up. And one of their friends comes out of their car and joins in. Wigs are being snatched, eyelashes are getting ripped off. It's a mess, honey. Eventually, a Walmart security guard told us that we had to leave, or they were gonna call the cops. And then we got banned from Walmart forever, so.
My dad tried to kill me. Story time. Growing up, my dad was extremely aggressive for no reason, especially when it came to me doing sports. Every time I joined a sport, my dad would force me to practice way too hard, and it was really overwhelming. And he only did this because he was extremely competitive and wanted me to be better than everybody else's kids. So when I was in high school, I decided to join the swim team. And when my dad found out, he would take me to this lake by our house and force me to practice every single day. It was a nightmare. One day while we were practicing, I was just so exhausted and I wanted to stop. So naturally, I wasn't swimming that fast because I was tired. Well, my dad got so frustrated with me, he told me that if I didn't pick up the pace, he was gonna drown me in the lake. And I really tried to swim faster, but I just did not have the energy. So he grabs me by the head and holds me underwater. I thought I was gonna die. The only reason he let me go is because I bit him in the hand.
This is why you should never trust your friend if they tell you that their pet don't bite. Charla Nash would go over to her friend's house, Sandra, every now and then to watch over her 200-pound chimpanzee. Charla knew straight off the bat that she did not like that chimpanzee because it always scared her. There was even a time where the chimpanzee jumped on Charla's back and ripped out a chunk of her hair. Charla started crying, but her friend Sandra thought it was funny. Sandra would not be laughing at anything that chimpanzee did much longer after this day. One day, Charla gets a call from Sandra saying her chimpanzee wouldn't go back in the cage and she needed some help. Charla drove over there to help her friend, and immediately after, Sandra would have to call the police. By the time the police arrived, Charla was laying on the ground with half of her face eaten off, no jaw, her nose hanging from her face by a piece of her skin, and with both of her hands ripped off. This is what Charla looked like before her attack. Her entire face was mutilated after the attack, but since the photos are super graphic, they'll be posted on my Instagram story.
Story time at the time where my Dunkin' Donuts got robbed when I was working early in the morning. So one morning, I had to go into work at 5 a.m. So I was never on time, and I got there at 6 a.m. I was always late. And at the store, it was just my manager waiting for me to come. And early in the morning, it's always dead. But this time, it was extra dead because it was Corona time, so nobody wanted to go out of their houses. People also needed jobs, so people also had no money. It's like people were so wild. Anyway, I get to work, and it's still dark outside. I walk in, and as soon as I walk in, a guy walks in from right behind me. As I'm clocking in, the guy comes up to the register. So my manager walks up and he's like, "How can I help you?" He literally takes out a giant knife and is like, "Give me the money from the register." He has a mask on, glasses on, hood on, and everything. We couldn't even see his face. My manager opened up the register and he took out the money and gave it to him. He was like swinging the knife at our faces. And he ran out of the store and I called a cop.
You know what I find funny? How the school system will teach us how to memorize pages and pages of useless and indoctrinated information that we could literally look up within seconds, but they fail to teach us the most important things in life, like, I don't know, creativity, imagination, self-awareness, how to love other people, communication skills, how to challenge ideas, how to grow our own food, how to self-defend, how to build, and overall just how to think for ourselves. Or literally anything about money, debt, or taxes. Or I don't know, just finding our passions and true talents in life. But no, they teach us what to think and not how to think. Just a thought.
Story time on the time my best friend tried to let my dog run away. So I used to be best friends with this girl. She used to always come over to my house. We'd always have sleepovers. However, she did not have such a great relationship with my dog. My dog would always jump on her, try to kiss her, lick her, bite her, play with her. But that's how dogs are, you know? She always told me didn't have a problem with it, but I could tell she had a problem with it. So one night, she was sleeping over in my room, and I wake up in the middle of the night, it's like 3 o'clock, and I hear like walking down the stairs, and I see she's not in her bed. And my dog used to always sleep in the room with us. I saw he wasn't in the room either. So I get up, I go downstairs, and I'm like, what's going on? And I see the doors open to the backyard. And she's like, Benji, come here. And I'm like, what are you doing? She was like, oh, nothing. I was like, are you letting him out?
I punched my uncle in the face. Story time. So I have this best friend, and we literally grew up with one another. So he's more like my brother. And he would come to our family events all the time. Well, one year we had a family barbecue at my house, and my best friend decided to come over. Now, mind you guys, my friend used to be a chubby kid, so he would get picked on for it all the time, and it would just really get under my skin. And I wouldn't hesitate to defend him, just like I know he wouldn't hesitate to defend me. So me and my friend are sitting on my front porch, and we're eating some food and just laughing and talking, you know, just being kids. But then my uncle comes over to us, and he just starts doing the most. So my uncle starts making fun of him for being chubby, and I was not having it. So I was like, if you say one more thing, I'm gonna punch you in your face. And my uncle bent down and was like, do it. So I did. I punched him in the face, and his nose started bleeding.
Story time of the time where I threw up in front of my whole classroom. So in my school, they would always give carton milk with meat or any other food. But whenever I had carton milk and meat, that was not a good combination. Like, who even allowed the schools to give milk and meat together? Like, just imagine that going into your stomach. Does not mix well. Anyway, one day I had milk and chicken. Of course, it was chocolate milk, which makes it worse. I felt like honestly I was the only kid who had this problem because nobody else had this problem, not even my brother. So one day I had chicken and milk and I did not feel good. So I told my teacher I need to go to the nurse. They called my mom and told me that she's gonna come and pick me up. So I was sitting in front of my classroom waiting for her. Then all of a sudden I couldn't hold it in. I had to let it out. I just threw up in front of the whole class. Story time on when I flooded my kitchen. So my parents were out and they called me to take the meat out of the freezer. And I was like, okay. But me being me, I forgot just like any other kid does. So I remembered 30 minutes later and I was like, oh crap. I ran to the kitchen, I took the meat out of the freezer and I threw it in the sink. I turned the hot water up so high even though it was gonna ruin the meat, but I was like, whatever, I don't want to get in trouble. So I left it and I came back in the other room and it was like 20 minutes later where I hear dripping of water. I was like, that's not supposed to be happening. I ran into the kitchen and I stepped in 2 inches of water all around the kitchen. I literally screamed so loud and I told my brother to come here and help me clean this up right now. I was having a panic attack. I was throwing towels everywhere and I literally cut myself cleaning so much.